Well, Somya, I've already said about the chaos that we've seen in these offices today. And that chaos is not a chaos created by the employees here. It's a chaos created by, I hesitate to say it, but at least maladministration on the part of the people who should be making this place work, and I suspect other officers are just as bad. And so, at the end of the day, the real issue here is that the people who should be getting the benefits from the road accident fund are not getting them. They're waiting years and years, and they're not getting them. Another aspect is that the road accident fund at our meetings has repeatedly complained about the high legal costs. But indeed, the high legal costs are exacerbated by the complete lack of any attempt to deal with the claims that are coming in. And so you have literally thousands of default judgments. Default judgments go with high legal costs. And so the bankruptcy of the RAF, which it is bankrupt, no matter how the books are fiddled to decide when liability does or doesn't arise, they are bankrupt, and it just gets worse. And in the end, the taxpayer will have to come in and bail out the RAF. So beneficiaries are not getting what is due to them. It's costing the RAF and therefore the taxpayer massive amounts of money in legal fees resulting from poor administration in the RAF. There may be cases of legal practitioners overclaiming and so on, but if the administration here is doing its job properly, those will be identified largely and they will be eliminated. So, Mr. Chairman, it's a really depressing day in that sense. But it's been a long time coming, because you, I'm sure, as I do, and Honourable Somya and my colleagues here, Honourable Van Minnen, get these regular, incredibly sad appeals from people who say, I don't know where to turn to now. It's been years and years, and I got one yesterday. I suppose people knew I was coming here. And I've just got another message, a long message, giving me the details of default judgments, which then leads me into the next thing. In April, we met with the RAF. At that meeting, the Chief Executive Officer and what exists of the board were instructed by Parliament, by this committee, to produce a comprehensive list of default judgments. And I think we gave them 2 weeks to do it. That's usually our modus operandi. It's now heading towards the end of June, and there's been no attempt to provide us with that information. And the reason clearly is because the default judgments is a massive, massive issue at the RAF, a huge issue, and it can't be covered up. And the unilateral decisions about dismissing panels of attorneys and so on has complications. The state attorney, is that the right word?
Yes, that's the right word.
It cannot cope with the existing workload that the state puts on the state attorney, let alone this massive legal workload that the RAF seems to think they can handle. And consequently, here we have lots of default judgments. So I like you, am very appreciative of the Deputy Minister being with us today. And I have a high regard for the Deputy Minister's ability to fix problems. But it does need more than just the Deputy Minister. And I hope we'll be able to give you the kind of support and that you may need to ensure that there is some sort of institutional change here. It's not a question of finding employees to discipline. That's not what it's about. It's a culture. It's much bigger, and certainly I'm committed, and my party's committed to trying to fix it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do you want to say something?
No, I'm just saying push it down to play
Thank you.
like musical chairs.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much, Deputy Minister, for being here. At SCOPA, we really started noticing enormous problems with the RAF, with their dispute with the AG regarding GRAP standards, and the audits that weren't being completed because they weren't being done according to the standards that were required. And what we have seen is how the executive and the board have pursued court case after court case after court case and lost with costs every time. It's now an appeal, and this really raised alarm bells. Instead of dealing with the issues as we have on the ground, paying people who have been injured, horrifically injured and killed in car accidents, they were engaging in this kind of activity. This has got so bad that we are here today. We have really faced a lot of resistance to us being here. There were attempts to cancel the meeting. The CEO is unavailable. Then when we arrived, certainly colleagues had difficulty getting in. And all through our tour today through the building, we have been shadowed by security. There has been an unwillingness for management to allow people to engage. But we have persevered. I mean, SCOPA has visited many places over the years. But I can really say that what we've seen today has truly been the most chaotic situation. There are literally desks constructed out of boxes of files with pieces of wood on top, where people are attempting to do their jobs, and they're working. What was expressed to me by one very concerned person was that in the midst of all this chaos, and I think you've heard extensively about it, they still have their assessments a couple of times a year, and because the outputs are low, they're receiving warnings, but they can't make work happen any faster than they are. But none of what is happening out there is being taken into account. So the work conditions for the people here are appalling. That obviously has an enormous knock-on effect. How people actually process a claim completely escapes me. You cannot find documents and files and work efficiently in the system that we're seeing. Already for many years, RAV has had a reputation for preferring litigation over actually dealing timeously with accident matters. There seems to be a prevailing viewpoint that all claims are partly fraudulent, so there is this default into litigation. Then, after firing the panel of attorneys in 2020, you're now seeing a situation where what people are doing is they're going out there and they're getting default judgments. Then they're getting writs, turning up and attaching what they can attach because payments are simply not happening. So this system, as it is at the moment, is completely moribund. And the people who have to be held responsible are the board and the CEO. And unless there is a change there, I very much fear that the current system is going to continue, which is disadvantaging everybody in the system, including hundreds of thousands of South Africans who are not receiving the payments to which they are entitled. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. In agreeing with my colleagues on most of the issues, I just want to focus on what we experience here, especially with the workers in this institution. And Deputy Minister, if we want results, we must first look at the working environment and try to look at the moral of the staff. Because it's painful to hear the outcry from officials here, will you rescue us? And I think South Africans are waiting for their claims, as Honourable Van Menen was saying, but they don't know the real environment or what is going on, and that the officials really try to do what they must do. So, Chair, to have happy workers, we must, and effective outcomes, and to bring results, we must really change the environment. And we really want to, or from our side, we want to acknowledge the fact that except for what is happening, the workers are keep on keeping on. So I will ask you, Deputy Minister, please try to address this with the board. Thank you.
Let's move down in the line.
Yes, Chair.
Conclude and then they will come to you, TM.
No, thank you, and good morning once more. You know, in addition to what colleagues have said, sometimes when you want solutions to have an effective institution like RAF running, truly make time to go and sit with the staff, especially where we went. They've got ideas in relation to how you can solve the backlog that we have seen. We're also just requesting that I want to re-emphasize that we don't take kind to how, from the board, even to the office of the CEO, we have been treated as a committee, and that we've got a responsibility to ensure that we conduct oversight. For example, even if the board chair was not here, they could have delegated somebody else, if you get what I'm saying. And that is going to make things very difficult for us moving forward. Please ensure that the requests that we had given them when we met them in April are met. We were still requesting for that data sheet so that we can be able to move forward and work. Let's focus also on motivating your employees. They are so demoralized. And let's close the gap between yourselves and them so that there can be efficiency and we can be able to assist the institution to continue to give our people claims. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity, Chair. Good afternoon, DM. I hope it's afternoon already.
Good morning. Just morning.
It's morning, okay. Okay, good morning, DM. Chair, I think this visit, this oversight visit, now there is a solid case to dismiss the board. And I'm wondering as to when last did the executive visit this place. The building itself is an occupational health hazard to the workers. The staff of the morale of the staff is very low. There is a high vacancy rate. Everything is just in shambles. We have got DM that it has been brought to our attention that claimants are not paid on time. Some contractors are not paid on time. Hence, the furniture is being attached. So the big question is, whom is RAF able, which financial obligations is RAF able to honor? Because almost everyone is not paid, or is not paid at all, or is not paid on time. The offices, they look exactly like illegal dumping site of files and papers. It's not good at all for the health of these workers. And you look at the whole environment of the offices, the paper trail of the claims is like an environment that has been deliberately formed for any element to be able to defraud RAF. Those that they are saying they are inflating claims and so forth and so forth, they are taking advantage of the system. You look at the filing system, is not on. You look at the paper trail system, is not on. So to us, when we come as members of parliament and the management trying to deny us access to this building, then you see this the chaos that we have seen. To me, it says this environment is deliberately constructed so that anyone can be able to come in and defraud a RAF. We are not happy the way we were treated. Then you ask yourself, if members of parliament serving in SCOPA are treated the way we are treated today by the management, then how about the employees? How about the staff? It means they are going through a lot. And unfortunately, no one wants to hear what they are going through on daily basis. No one cares about them. So that is what we are requesting, that please, human resource is very important in any working environment. These people are working under a very